The following program may contain strong language and mature content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Shenomenal. I am your host, Tasha Champion, the Shenomenal Coach of Champion Empowerment. Always teaching you to love the champion you are. I'm really excited about today. I am speaking to two women who are running and operating their businesses. So I can't wait to bring them on so that you guys can see what they're doing, see how they are just creating a lane in life for themselves to bring their brand to life, to get all of you guys involved in being supportive. So I love talking to women. I love women who are in business for themselves. And we are just going to rock this episode today. Let me tell you guys something. So today I'm wearing my I Am a Shenomenal Woman shirt. Okay. I was at the grocery store a few days ago, and a woman just kind of looked and she stopped and she's like, "Oh, what does your shirt say? What's that?" And of course, I read it to her. I was like, "Oh, yes, I am a Shenomenal Woman." And she's like, "What does that mean?" And I said, "Shenomenal." I explained my brand, and I'm like, "It's the magnified or the extraordinary phenomenal woman." Phenomenal women are women who, like, they give up their excuses, and they see when they see a challenge, they own it, and they give up excuses so that they can make a way through life's most challenging times. And so she's like, "Oh, I love it." And she's asking me the different things that I do. So naturally, I give her one of my cards, and I just talk about like my event coming up. I talk about the coaching that I do, how I help and support exhausted women who are just feeling like they have no more time in the day, women who feel like they're underappreciated. I help women basically go from the bottom of their to-do list to the top so that they can prioritize their self-care. So she's loving all of this. And I'm like, "Okay, well, just follow me, or, sign up for my email and you'll be on my list." And she says, "Oh, well, no, thank you. I'm a woman of faith." I was like, okay. And so am I. I'm not sure what made her say that. Maybe it's because the back of my business card says that I do Reiki, I do angel card readings, I do crystal healings, I do intuitive healings, and maybe she was offended by that. I don't know. But here's the thing, and I've talked about this quite a bit, whether you watch Tasha Tuesday or this show or you talk to me in person. We have to stop feeling like because someone doesn't operate their faith the same as you, that it means that they don't have faith. Because I've been asked that before, like, "Do you believe in God?" Or, who do you follow? And I'm like, "I follow God just like you do. And if you have a conversation with me, you will know God is always at the top of my life." But we have to understand, or let me help you understand. Healing comes in all forms. Having a relationship with God comes in all forms. And we cannot keep this judgment of, "You're not Christian," or "You don't believe the way that I believe," or "You don't believe everything in the Bible you do." Like, can we just all say that we each get to have our own relationship with God and how we see fit, and that we get to operate in our faith the way that we get to choose. Because some of y'all, I don't want the same faith as y'all. I expect y'all to want the same faith as me. So just make sure, like, regardless of what anybody tells you, you operate your faith and your relationship with God the way that you desire it. And don't let anybody get you down because they say, oh, I'm a woman of faith, as if you're not, because you still are. Whatever you believe, whatever you choose, it's your choice. Okay. So that's why I'm wearing my I Am a Shenomenal Woman shirt, because I'm proud to be a Shenomenal woman. I'm proud to be a woman of faith. And I am proud just to be a woman that can say, like, yes, I believe in God. God is at the top of my life, but I also believe in crystal healing and being energized from the moon and the sun. You can do what you want to do. It's all about your own relationship with God. Okay, so that's that. Now, let's talk about smashing your boobs. I'm going to tell you this every single week, so you might get tired of it. Or maybe if I tell you to smash your boobs enough, you'll make sure you call your doctor to schedule your appointment and get your mammogram. It's so crucial for us to get our mammograms. Again, it's also important to do your monthly exams. But some women are always like, well, I'm afraid of the pain. I don't like how the smash feels. Listen, I need you to understand. It's a smash for maybe 30 seconds. It might be a minute. I don't know. But if you're a woman that has already had a baby, don't tell me that you can't take the smash of your boob. It's so important. It can and will save your life, because early detection is the best detection. So I am really big, about women making sure that they get their mammogram. So please, if you have not done so, now's the time. Set your alarm right now. Call your doctor tomorrow, schedule the smash, get it done, and then head over to the mammochallenge.com and register for my Mammo Challenge. I'm going to pull a winner at the second annual Shenomenal Women's Brunch, which is where you need to be on Saturday, July 9th at the Hilton Garden Inn in Fontana. I have assembled a phenomenal, Shenomenal, and Henomenal program so that you guys are going to get filled in spirits, filled in your soul, but you're also going to get filled in your bellies with some good food and some mimosas. You need to be at the second annual Shenomenal Women's Brunch. It is all about awakening your Shenomenal life. It's all about just breaking free of what's holding you back. We're going to talk about how you can succeed with just doing pinky moves when success seems impossible. We're going to talk about awakening life after loss. And then we are just going to really bring it home with how you awaken your life. How do you walk and talk and be in your Shenomenal glow and live your best life? You have one life to live, and that dash in between your date of birth and your date of death needs to be completely full. So make sure you are at that brunch. Okay. All right. We're going to head to a quick break. And when I come back, we're going to talk to the creator and founder of Afrotages. Let me tell you something. I'm so in love with that word because it is giving me all kinds of, yes, get this contagious melanin because we are the glow. So I love her brand, Afrotages. We're going to meet with Sheros Thomas, and we're also going to meet with Kiana V. Ware Davis Reyes, because she just got married. And we're going to talk about her brand, which is Ware Design. She is a phenomenal designer and also one of my co-authors. So we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back and we're going to talk to these ladies about what they're doing, how they're bringing their brands to life. So stay with us. We'll be right back. we are back, and now it is time to bring in my guest. We're going to speak with Sheros Thomas, founder of Afrotageous, and Kiana V. Ware Davis Reyes, founder and owner of Ware Design. So let's go ahead and bring them in and get this talk going. Hi, ladies.
Hey, Tasha.
Hello. Okay, so I'm so excited to just sit and chat with you guys. We're going to have just a very open conversation about your businesses, how you are moving and shaking things in this world with your businesses. And then we also, of course, want to talk about like what it's like being a Black woman in business and how we can be supportive of your brand and what you're doing. How can we be supportive of that? So to start with, I want to start with Sheros. Um, like I told you, I'm so obsessed with the name Afrotageous. It's just so like it's so warm, it's so clean, and it's so like bam. Yes, I'm Black, I'm proud. Get this melanin. It is contagious. We are Black magical women. It says everything, everything in one. Afrotageous. So tell us how you came up with that name, and tell us a little bit about what you do.
So, it's really neat to be able to tell the story about the name as a part of everything that we do, because I'm really at the center of all of it is family. And my sister actually came up with the name. So this is really definitely about a family effort, and all of the sort of contributions and acknowledgement. I want to make sure I honor her in that. So she came up with the name, and it really was about, we were having these conversations about like just how we encourage our children. Particularly, we had a set of girls in 2016. We had 7 babies, and 5 of them were girls.
Wow.
And really encourage them to sort of own their own identity, their own power. And I really loved what you talked about in the beginning in your intro, even just about like owning your relationship to God, owning your relationship to your faith, whatever that might be, and what that looks like is, to me, very similar to owning your natural beauty, faith in self, faith in what comes out of your head, and being the person in your own head. I think all of that is just, it's the vibe. So, get this melanin. That was a great way to summarize what is Afrotageous.
Oh gosh, I love it. Okay, going to you. I'm gonna call you V because I've known you for so long, so I'm used to Kiana, but I'm gonna go with V because I know that that's part of your paying an homage to your grandmother's legacy. It's part of your brand and who you are and what you do. So I'm gonna remember to say V. But tell us about Ware Design. How did you come up with it, and what does it mean to you?
Thank you, Mama Tasha. A lot of people don't know Tasha has been in my life since I was a baby, so I appreciate her still honoring my preferred name as V. As she mentioned, I just recently changed my name, and because my brand is such a big part of who I am, I kept Ware in my name. So my name is now Violetta Ware Davis Reyes. And for me, my brand obviously has my last name in it, Ware Designs. It became Ware Designs sometime around 2013. It was right after my grandmother, Brenda Ware, got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And she was very instrumental in my life, similar to, the previous story we heard. I'm very family centered, and my grandmother was very inspirational in my life, in me embracing my art and everything that was my culture. So when she got sick and she ultimately ended up passing away to her battle with cancer, I decided to rename my company and rebrand myself and honor her legacy in that. So Brenda Ware was her name, and I named it Ware Designs because of that. So it's so near to my heart, and that's why I kept it in my name, even though I took my wife's last name. So
beautiful. And congratulations, because you did just get married. So I want to make sure that we celebrate you and honor you. So congratulations on the marriage. Tell us, what does Ware Design offer?
yes, thank you so much for that. Ware Designs is a full service graphic design company. I offer everything from logos to marketing packages, as well as paintings. The painting you see behind me is actually a commission piece I did for my mother-in-law. So I do anything from acrylic, oil, watercolors. I've done some wedding pieces for people, from like umbrellas, papyrus umbrellas. I've also done calligraphy packages for grads. And most recently, I've launched a clothing line by the name of Mixed Melanin, which has a similar tone of, celebrating all shades of black and brown. So for me, Beware Designs is everything that I do design related. And I have a very old slogan of mine that I still use today, which is if you can think it, I can make it. So whatever you need design based, I probably can do it, or I know someone who can do it for you. So I'm a
Yeah.
very big promoter of other people's businesses, and I love
Mhm.
to support the Black community and the Brown community in that as well.
Beautiful. And I will say, like, I am witness to Kiana, this is like in my head. And all of a sudden she brings it to life. And I'm like, I don't know how you were able to read my mind, but thank you. All right. Sheros, tell us about, like you mentioned about your brand, just kind of how it came to be, because you wanted young Black girls to acknowledge their beauty, their natural beauty, to acknowledge and own their power. And that's what I see in Afrotages. Now, your brand is, I'm going to say, like a village, right? How did you come up with that?
So the brand I wrote a book. I think I have the book nearby, but so I wrote a book, and the book is actually the origin of it was really individual characters, and within each individual character, I started to build out families. And so if you think about this notion of like you look just like your daddy, you heard that before, right? I look like my daddy. And the notion of like what it is to be feminine and what it is to be a woman, and what it is to like own that versus the pressure of people telling you you need to wear this kind of style, or you have to wear makeup to be a woman, or you have to be all these things. You couldn't just look like your daddy. So the village character is kind of like every character looks like a member of their family. Like you should, you know, enjoy and appreciate and like looking like your own family. So these clans of people, like there's this celebration of like and I'm wearing a shirt so you can kind of see like there's clans of people, and in each clan it's like, and you can even, there's like a little bit of a progression of like in the color theory of our chakra system, we go from red to orange, yellow,
Yeah.
green, blue, purple. So all of those energies are represented in the family in the various clans. But then you also see like the migration from one family to the other. And I definitely grew up in a non-traditional family in terms of like really a large family. We were spread out. So being able to just incorporate some of that into the village is definitely there as well. But again, it started with individual characters. It started off as well when I was beginning. I was inspired by each of the girls. So there is a character for each of the girls in there. There's characters that are inspired by my family for sure. And then one of the things I really like when people read the book, and the book is called Afrotage's Crowns. Again, it's a celebration of our hair, and people see the different colors and they see the different sort of features of hair and texture of hair, which is really what's illustrated in the book. People always kind of say, which one am I? And they kind of flip back because it's like, I'm a little bit of this, but I want to be hot pink. And I'm also a little, from naturally pretty to whatever the sort of characters are throughout the story. People resonate with those. So.
Okay, so you started with the book.
The village, like you're saying, the signature print is definitely the village, and you'll see a lot of the products will have this print on them.
Right. Okay, so you started with the book.
Yep.
How did you transition into, I want to bring this to life as a clothing brand?
Honestly, I mean, I can't get away from these kids at all to tell this story, because it was like when they were 1 year old, I had to come up with something for their first birthday, and everybody got the same gift. They just got it like, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months apart. Right. Mm-hmm. So as I was like really challenging myself to come up with something that I could give them that was really crafted. I'm pretty crafty. So it was about giving them something that was really, a part of my legacy to them, is, if you will, like, a part of my story is that I was actually very ill coming into 2016. So when these babies were born, I was actually going through this transition of life where I was juicing and really, really in my health journey. Right. Okay. So they came as this like refreshment to life, like this reviving of like, there is reason to be here. There's purpose in being here. And so they really represented for me this North Star about what I was leaving and what my legacy was. And so I would make these gifts for them every year. And so that was really my inspiration to use the characters in different ways and create different products and different, products, I would say, like to really as gifts to them. And year over year, that has like developed into this line of products that I really love seeing them personally enjoy. And then now that other people are aware and get in on it, and other little girls get in and they see themselves in it, that just,
Yes.
like the joy then just flourishes, right? Like, I love that.
Beautiful. Okay, so we're talking about how you're building your legacy within your own brand. So Kiana, I'm sorry, V, it's Happy Charm. Um, how do you incorporate a piece of you into your pieces and now into your clothing line? Like, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind when someone says, "Oh my God, I have a Beware design"? What do you want them to feel and know?
Oh, just culture in general. I think as an artist, I think we always strive to leave a piece of us in everything. And so my clothing line is no different with that. You know, every single piece I release is always intentional. You know, when I first released Mixed Melanin, I just had maybe 3 designs I was releasing. And it was a rooted design, it was a melanated design, and it was another black based design that I had. And I was very intentional with that because I wanted all 3 of them to be very intentional, you know. And the melanated design I had reminded me kind of the story you told when we started. You know, I would have people come up to me when I was at pop-up shows and promoting it, and they would say, "Melanated, what is that?" You know, and so it kind of starts a dialogue, right? And I feel when people see that now, they think of me. You know, the people in Atlanta when I had pop-up shows there, they remember that. When I go to
Right.
DC, I remember that. And so now it's associated with my brand, you know, and it's the same with my art as well. I believe every artist has a style, and I'm sure, you know, Sheros can relate to that as well. Everything you touch, people can tell that you touched it. And I really enjoy that about being an artist. But I just believe if you pour yourself into things, it will show. And I strive to just stay true to my passion and make sure that I'm giving my artistic abilities to everything that I do.
Right. Tell us a little bit more about like why mixed melanin. What did that mean to you?
Well, you know, growing up, I definitely had a different experience than a lot of people around me. You know, I wasn't black and white like a lot of people that were mixed when I was growing up. I'm
Mhm.
Filipino and black. And so people would see my mom and think I was Chinese, or they would see my dad and just think that I was black and wonder why this Chinese lady was picking me up. And so as I got older, I realized that it was not my responsibility to educate other people about my culture, but it
Mm,
was my responsibility to embrace my culture. And so as a woman now of almost 30, you know, I stand very strong in both cultures. And so
right.
it's very much a mixed melanin bag in my household. And so, you know, I have cousins who are like siblings to me. They're also black and Filipino. And so both sides of that culture is very strong for me. And
Right.
I love my black family as much as I love my Filipino family. And so, you know, as a woman of color, I just recognize that when we are in the room, the thing that makes us the same is that we're all brown, right? And no matter what kind of brown you are, all of that needs to be respected. And so I felt the happy marriage of that was to celebrate mixed melanin, because whether
Right.
you're black and you are African American because you are African and you are American, or whether you are, you know, mixed because you're black and Filipino, you are still mixed with something, and it's melanin, you know. So to me,
That
that's what
part.
that means. Yeah.
Yes. You are mixed with the golden magic. Yes, I love that. I absolutely love that. And I love that you are honoring both sides, because sometimes when you are biracial, they want you to pick. And you're like, no, I'm going to honor both sides of my family, as you should. So congratulations on that. Back to you, Sheros. So you started off as a book and then you branded into a clothing line. And I see on your website you have like duffel bags and flip flops, and you have backpacks, you have masks. Where else are you going to take Afrotages? Because you've really created like this full line, and I love it. But Afrotages obviously it's no small matter. It can grow and it can be big. What are some of your visions to keep growing Afrotages?
Yeah, well, this is actually a perfect time to sort of intersect where we've been talking as artists. You know, you said like there's a signature to your art, there's an art style, and there's this intersection of like what you want to create and contribute. But then also for me, there's the business aspect for that, which is starkly different than the creating part in some ways, even though you can be creative about how you develop business. But I also am the sort of keeper of a 100-year plan for my family. This is something that has been in development. I'm targeting October will be our 10th year report in the 100-year plan. So again, it's a vision of being able to say that there's something left after you, there's something more than you. And so I really get to do a lot of what we would say like sampling and opportunities with the kids themselves, because my vision is for this to be something that they can inherit. So when you talk about vision, I definitely have long-term vision, but most people are really asking me like short-term vision, like where do we take this next? And I think there's a lot of conversations around how we empower the next generation and how we connect, you know, what we've learned and what we've acquired to the next generation, and being able to hand them some established processes, some established equity in what Afrotages is. These become assets that when I talk about, again, what legacy is, there's the verbal and there's the ethics and there's the principles that I would want my sort of descendants to be able to take away from my experience on this planet. But also there's a financial path that goes along with establishing a brand and having a vision for how that can live over time. So in the short term, there's some things that we could definitely be doing better. We're learning as we go in some respects. I'm a marketer by trade.
Okay.
But I market for Fortune 100, and the budgets and the sort of approach and the effort of like marketing in top for Fortune 100 is significantly different than like my Instagram page and my 2,000 followers, you know, and like what the intimate dynamic is. And really the celebration right now is really like, it's really the one-on-one. If you buy something from Afrotages, it's personal. This really is, you know, for people who understand what this journey of loving yourself, loving your children, loving, you know, being a role model to the children and being able to look yourself in the face and say, this is my true self. I'm comfortable with this in such a way that I'm empowering the young people to be comfortable with their true selves. You know what I mean? And building out what that village and what that community means is really, it's really personal today. And I think we're trying to get it to where, you know, again, long-term, we have an asset that we are nurturing and developing that the family can have ownership in over time.
I love that, because people always talk about breaking generational curses. And that's like illegal language in my house. We don't talk about breaking curses, generational curses. We talk about creating generational blessings.
Right.
Because if you're only focused on the curses and what was,
you're looking in the wrong direction.
Yeah, you're going in the wrong direction. So we, in my household, we talk about creating generational blessings, and that's what I hear from you. Like, this is not just right now. This is the right now. It is the tomorrow. It is when I'm gone. When you hear Afrotages, you're going to know respect. You're going to know power. You're going to know love. You're going to know beauty. And it's all within this family business. So I love that you're seeing it beyond the brand of clothing or the book, that you are seeing this as the vision of what brings your family and holds them together.
Let me just mention here, because I think this is important when I think about women in business, what it is to be a woman, what it is to be a nurturer, what it is to be, we're biologically different. You know, we're different than men.
We're different.
And so the way they've attacked business comes with its structure, right? And I am very intentional about wanting to, and I've lived in that structure. I've lived in corporate, you know, for double-digit years. I've navigated that world, right? So understanding what I am able to adjust and affect and modify there, and then what I want to be a part of seeing and envisioning and creating. It's definitely about being able to bring some of that warmth of, you know, just true humanity and what it is to be a woman. I want that to live in my brand, and it not just be like business as usual. You know what I mean? So
you want people to feel that feminine energy, because we're so used to the masculine energy when it comes to businesses, when it comes to running the business. So you want to really pull the feminine energy out and let people feel
it's true. You know, I was talking earlier about, like, you know, when you see like the buy now, where it's like the aggressive, like, and not that women can't be aggressive or women can't be strong, because of course we are, right?
That part.
Certainly we are. But there's other aspects of what we can bring to business when we're true to ourselves. Again, just that connectivity to the faith in who you came to be. I think that is where And let me just say this clearly too, because it's not like I just woke up and I was 20 and I was like, I'm going to go to work and bring my whole self. Like, no, this has been a journey. Yeah. And part of what that journey has been is what I'm trying to leave breadcrumbs for other people not to have to, hit those same obstacles or navigate in the same way that I had to learn how to do, kind of in a scrappy way. Like maybe there's a way that I can, leave a path that's a little smoother for somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. So going back to V, and then Sheros, I'm going to come to you with the same question. Was there ever a time where you felt like you couldn't be your true self in your brand? And if so, how did you overcome that to say, hell to the no, this is me, this is what you're going to get?
Ooh, Tasha, that's a loaded question. I think since we're talking about women in business, right, and how a lot of women tend to start their business while they're working a 9-to-5, I think I'll focus on that aspect of it, right? So for me, I've always had more of a government and type of military background, or I worked in corporate, and being from the South and a woman going into those spaces as a queer woman was also a space that was really hard for me to navigate because there weren't that many women who looked like me and were openly queer. So,
Right.
That affected my brand as a business owner, because in my business, I am 100% me, so everyone knows that I am the person that is, volunteering for all the Pride events in Atlanta. I'm running the parades. I'm, helping Spelman do their thing. And it was, for me, it felt like I was living two different lives when I would go to work, because I'd have to really back in and, let's tone it down. Let's not ruffle these feathers too much. And so I learned, as you said it beautifully. You don't wake up one day and say, oh, this is how I need to come to work, right? You kind of learn it by bumping your head slowly over a couple of years. And so over time, I realized I was only creating friction for me. People were going to be uncomfortable regardless. And so I decided, let me stop being uncomfortable so that I can bring what I actually bring to the table. And the second I started dressing the way I dress outside of work, which, wasn't unprofessional, it just was more masculine than what they thought a woman should look like in the, in the business place. Once I started wearing my natural hair the way that I wanted to wear it, switching it up from Monday to Friday, why do I always have to have a bun, So once I started doing that, I think I was able to bring my authentic self to work better. And I feel like that's really when my career shifted. And when my career in my day job shifted, it created more space in my business outside of that for me to be creative. So for me, that's what it was. Yeah.
And you just threw V right into that. Like, this is what it is.
Yes.
Okay. Before, we're going to take a quick break before you answer that same question, Sheros. So stick right here. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and continue this conversation. And then I do want to get into the branding and how you're able to continue to bring your brand to life in an industry that tries to swallow women. How are you making yourself loud and proud? Like, nope, you're going to get this Afrotageous. You're going to get this mixed melanin. So we're going to talk about that. We'll be right back. we are back. We're talking with Sheros Thomas, founder of Afrotages, this word that I just love to say. And then we're also talking to V, I remembered, with Ware Design. So as we were going into break, we were talking about, did you ever feel like you had to hide a part of who you are before you were able to just be like, listen, this is me, this is what you get. So Sheros, talk about that for a moment. Did you ever feel like there was a time where you couldn't be 100% in your brand and what you were doing, or you felt like you had to hide?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I'm going to answer it a little bit more about the way the brand goes to market, right? So like I mentioned, I wrote the book. Let me first say that when V talked about the bun, that I'm a bun girl. I used to I had locks, I had long locks, and for years in corporate, I wore my hair in a bun. So the locks were in a bun. People didn't even probably know I had locks because I just wore my hair in a bun. So the Afrotage's notion of being able to let your hair down and let your hair out and let your hair be, that is fundamentally why I think it's such an important element of where we start the conversation about identity, particularly with young Black women, right? And so I showed my book to other people, to potential collaborators and friends of mine that are not Black. And a lot of times people would say to me right off, like, one, can I wear the shirt? That would be a question I would get from people that aren't Black. But also, like, why don't you have, why isn't there a white person represent, a white child represented in the village? And I'm like, y'all got everything else. Let's hit a Target. When Disney launches, the newest Elsa situation is full, brain, mind takeover of, other, and that was really even part of my inspiration. Again, you see like the long Elsa wig, and my girls loved it. They would have loved, they love the notion of it, but it doesn't support and empower and represent who we are. And so there's often tension for me because, even among Black women, they might be like, well, you can't police my hair and tell me, I don't want to police your hair. I don't want to police you. I don't want to tell you that you have to do this or you have to do that. I'm inviting you to the freedom that is, right? So it's not about you having to do it or me saying there's only one way. Like, that's why I said that thing you were saying about, the relationship you have, your faith. There's more than one way. Absolutely. Yes. I believe that there is a path to freedom, and being able to stand in that, it does create tension. Like I said, definitely outside of Black people, but even within other Black women who have a point of view about what the spectrum should look like or could look like. And for me, it's really about, my truth is, I didn't get to see enough celebration. And even with people telling me like, oh, you have good hair. That was like a thing, right? Good hair. That did not encourage or empower me to want my hair down. I still wore it in a bun. So there's this space and this tension between what it is to let it be. And it does what it wants to do. This is the truth.
But you embrace it however it comes. You're like, listen.
Just roll with it. And sometimes that means we're bringing it in a bun because we want to, not because it's, this limit that it has to be in a bun. So I love how you talk about that too, Dee.
So going back to that, because you were saying like other races are like, well, can I wear the shirt? Or, we don't even have to answer the question of why isn't anyone else represented? Like you said, y'all are represented everywhere. This is us. This is about Afrotages. If you don't want the hair, then, don't ask me why you're not represented. But what is your response when they say like, well, can I wear the shirt? And if a white woman, let's say, feels like, am I going to be attacked if I wear this shirt? Not physically, but just like, why do you have that shirt on? Like, what is your response to that?
Yeah, I love the question. And again, different people will have a different opinion, but as a brand owner, I am offering a product that I want everyone to buy. And I want a world where my children can walk outside and see that everyone honors, recognizes and celebrates who they are, just the same way they do for everything else. One of the most iconic T-shirts is like Marilyn Monroe. You will see Marilyn Monroe on anybody. Like, it's an iconic T-shirt. I think Andy Warhol may have done one of the most iconic celebrations of her that you see, right, represented. It's not about me being Black or you being blue that you want to wear that shirt. It's just a dope shirt. So if you think it's dope and you want to rock it, I feel like go for it. You know what I mean? So we had a little tension around one of the social media managers last year was friends with a girl who's, I think, from Thailand. And shout out to her because she liked the shirt. She wore the shirt. We put pictures of her on the site and people were like, who is this? What is this? She's not a Black woman. And I was like, you're right. But she's recognizing and celebrating who we are today too. So I could see it, it created conversation for sure. But for me, again, as a business owner, that's the aspect of it. Like, the vision is that everybody honors, recognizes, celebrates, and buys into what it is to celebrate who we are. And it's
Right.
very important that we do that. Like I said, the business is personal. It's very important that we do that. But from a financial standpoint, I want y'all to buy some shirts.
Exactly.
And tennis shoes. You know what I mean?
Once you put on this Afrotages, you are just like, you are encapsulated in Black Girl Magic. So yes, put it on.
Come
And
get
like
it.
you said, it starts a conversation. And if someone else has it on and it's like, well, why do you have that shirt on? Now we get to have these open conversations about
Yeah.
what it means and why it's important for everybody to embrace. Like, this is a culture that we're going to embrace. Y'all copy everything else, you might as well embrace it. We're going to be here. We ain't going nowhere.
That's right.
I particularly, let me just shout out too, because from a children's standpoint, the book I think is very important as a learning tool. I've had a lot of teachers get the book, and I've done some readings in schools. I've donated books to schools because I think it's actually like in that developmental stage. I think it's really important for melanated and non-melanated children to see and get that representation of what it is for other people to be beautiful and not just the ones that look like you. I think that's
Right.
important.
It is. It really is important. And being a mom who, like, I had to explain to my children a number of times that they were Black because they are fair skinned. And so, as a child, they just see Black or white. They don't see the race. And so
Right.
we had to have those conversations so that they can understand. And granted, this is when they were younger. And I would open magazines and show them the different shades that we come in. And when I first saw your Afrotages shirt from Denisha, I was like, I like that because I'm seeing the different shades that we come in. We're not just one. And so I love that you're bringing it all together, opening this up for different conversations, especially in school with children, because that's a big thing. So I love Afrotages. I love the name. I love what you're doing. I love what you are developing for your family long term. So congratulations.
Thank
Now,
you. Thank you for having us on to talk about this, for sure.
yes, I think it's so important. I want, as a Shenomenal woman who gets to be around other Shenomenal women, my goal with this show was to always bring on women who are doing things, who've overcome things. If you have a business and you're like, I want to share my business, call Tasha Champion, like, come on to my show. Let's make sure we are constantly, uplifting and being aware of what our other Shenomenal sisters are doing. So that's what this was about, and I'm so glad that we get to talk about this. And I want somebody today who never heard of Afrotages or never heard of Ware Design or Mixed Melanin to say, like, oh, I just learned about a brand. Let me go support it. That's what, yes. What has been the most difficult part of your artistic journey in developing? Most important, I'm going to go just with Mixed Melanin. In developing that brand, what was the most difficult part?
Whew, I hate to say it, but sometimes it be your own people. And I feel like for me, Mixed Melanin, when I first launched it, I got a lot of feedback from people who didn't know that I was Black. People that have known me my whole life. And as I mentioned, they saw my mom a lot, and they forgot that I had a grandmother and a father and a grandfather who were always there all the time that were Black, and so I got a lot of people thinking that I was hopping on the wave of, Black culture is hot right now. So now she wants to promote that in her company. And I'm like, guys, where have you been? I've been doing this for years, So, but I think it's really important as a brown business owner. And I always am intentional when I say brown, because again, there's a spectrum, right? And I fall somewhere on that spectrum. And I want for people to understand that, Black and brown are both things that belong in the same sentence. We're on the same team. But, I think for me, again, the challenge was getting people who don't necessarily look at me and automatically identify, getting them on board with the brand of what I'm trying to promote, which is literally the definition of Mixed Melanin. On my website, it says I'm promoting all shades of Black and brown in unity and uplifting the community. That's what it says, and it's like the community itself was kind of a backward moment for me. And so I had to, again, reroot myself, recenter myself, and be true to my own faith and my own
Right.
culture, and know, it's not my responsibility, again, to educate those people on their shortcomings, because that's really what it is. It's their ignorance to our culture here. And so, I just had to keep educating, keep being rooted in what I believe in, and keep pushing the brand. And so when I did that, I think I got more of a positive reaction, because then people realize oh, you know what? She's actually being legitimate with this. She
Right.
does look at the sides of her culture. Her mom is Filipino, but her Filipino mom is here at the pop-up show, at the Afro Soca Love pop-up show, and shout out to them, because they were one of the first pop-up shows I did, and they were amazing. I didn't get any backlash from them. I'm registered as a Black-owned business, but clearly I'm promoting the islands, right? And they promote the islands, not just the Black community and African American lens, right? They're promoting what the world sees as Afro Soca, and so I love that about them. But yeah,
Right.
for me, that was the challenge.
Okay. Now let's talk about branding and what you guys need in terms of branding. Because number one, again, I know y'all are like, how many times is Tasha gonna say this? I love the name Afrotagious.
Say it again.
It's contagious. It is very contagious. So, and I really do love Mixed Melon. I remember when you launched that brand, and I was like, that's dope. It's I just thought it was about you, but now even just in talking to you, I'm understanding it was a deeper meaning than just you being biracial. But what branding do you need, or how can we support the brand? What can we do to help keep your brand uplifted and keep your brand alive? What do we need to do as a Black and Brown community to keep Afrotagious, to keep Mixed Melanin? What do we need to do? Sheros, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so Afrotagious.com is definitely a property that we have owned for past few years. And it's a place where we celebrate the products, and you can definitely get the book there. And there's other sort of content that may or may not be there at any given time. We refresh that. But we're learning, I would say, is that even though you need that space, people are living and integrating in social. And one of the just sort of easiest things to do is to go follow Afrotagious.com on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, like in the socials, being able to follow, being able to like, being able to comment, even before you buy, while you're still thinking, if you're interested, asking questions, like engaging with the brand, sharing the brand with other people, other role models, aunties, as well as moms and teachers and other sort of folks that influence our youth. These are definitely spaces where I welcome the community to get in and be a part of this. We invite us to speak, invite us to read at your school. We did a library dedication a couple of weeks ago for Miss Brenda Bright at Audubon Junior High in Los Angeles.
I went there, yes.
You probably know, as thousands of her students know, Miss Brenda Bright was one of the most phenomenal, loving, caring, nurturing teachers. So it was very on brand for us to be there and be one of the first alumni authors to donate a book to the Brenda Nash Bright Library at Audubon Middle School in LA. So, that kind of thing is just it is about community. It is about giving. It is about the children ultimately. So I think those are ways that people can help, in addition to buying, gifting, purchasing, definitely.
Okay, so V, we're going to go to you, and then we're going to follow up with how we can follow you guys, how we can be in touch with you guys before we close out. So V, tell us, how can we support Mixed Melon? How can we support Beware Design? What do you need from the community?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with Shiraz. The best support is always the dialogue, right? Go and follow us on socials for sure. My website is bewaredesigns.com. I have all my social handles on there, official Beware Designs. Follow that. I have a separate page for each discipline that I have. So Mixed Melanin has its own page. But most importantly, I think it's really important as a Black and Brown community for us to adopt the language Black and Brown, for us to talk about what that means, for us to talk about what Mixed Melanin, Afrotagious really means for us as a community within America as well. We live in America. How are we going to make this a better place for our generation? And I think for me, that's the most important thing, and supporting the brand that you can do, because that's ultimately what I want to do, is help unify the Black and brown community within America. So, in addition to liking and following and engaging in all of my content, please, please, please just keep supporting each other and keep uplifting the Black and brown community, because we need it more than the other communities do.
Yes, absolutely. So you gave your handles. Perfect. Sheros, can you give us how we can follow you? And anybody who's watching now, or if you're watching the replay, pause for a second and go follow them. They're giving you their handles. Go follow them. Go to their website. Order something. Like I always say, when December comes around, y'all, please go to your own people's websites and order something to gift to somebody else, because not only do you know about the brand, now you're introducing it to someone else. So Christmas time come around, I want to see some Ware design orders and some Afrotageous orders. So Sheros, tell us how people can follow and get in touch with you.
Absolutely. So Afrotageous, I hope that my camera is reversed the proper way for you to be able to see. It is AFROTAGIOUS, Afrotageous.com. And it's Afrotageous in most of the socials. Again, you can go at Afrotageous Twitter, at Afrotageous Instagram, at Afrotageous on Facebook. We may have a Pinterest and a TikTok. There's nothing on the TikTok. I mean, there's like some goofy stuff on the TikTok, but engage, let us know you want to hang out there, and we can make that happen. We can have dialogue where the people are, you know what I mean? But definitely Afrotageous is on all of these social platforms for sure.
Yeah, okay. I know that V does. Sheros, I'm going to ask you, do you do custom pieces? So like if someone is saying, hey, I have this kind of idea, but I want to do it with your brand, do you have custom designs?
Well, we're having some conversations about what collab could look like and how we might do some licensing projects. We also do like special rollouts, and to be honest, it's been kind of fun because we've made the best out of basically the sort of, people talk about purchasing challenges through the pandemic, right? It's been hard to get our materials and different things. And so sometimes we have short supply, we have short runs. And so it'll be a special edition and you either got it or you didn't. It's things that I didn't get that I'm like, I didn't keep it. I wrote, right? Right now we have some shoes out, for example. There's like a couple of different styles of shoes. I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to get my supplier to support that. You know what I mean? I had somebody come in and ask me like, hey, can you do some shorts for summer? So we're looking into that. It is a little bit more of a burden on the business, quite frankly. So it's not necessarily the most profitable way to go today for me, but these are definitely things that we're interested in. We're looking in, like I said, we're definitely open to collaboration. We have a couple of potential collabs that we're in discussion on now in terms of mashups with other brands. So
beautiful, beautiful. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and especially because obviously with Denisha being a friend of mine, I would see her in pictures and I was attracted to the name. So it's really nice to have you on and share your brand. And then with you, V, my Kiana, but V, it's really, really good to hear you talk about your brand, what it means to you, why you developed it. So I appreciate having these Shenomenal queens in the building today. Please be sure to follow Sheros Thomas. Be sure to follow Kiana. Be sure to make sure you guys follow Afrotageous and Ware Design Official. Thank you, ladies, so much for being with me today. You are Shenomenal women, and we will be right back.
Pyro Media Network is a proactive network focused on providing innovative space for content creators and entrepreneurs. PMN is dedicated to giving its viewers a diverse entertainment experience while helping content creators elevate their production, engagement, and overall branding. To date, PMN has reached over 1 million viewers and listeners internationally, produced over 72 successful shows with high ratings and fanfare, and has housed over 135 content creators, brands, and businesses through entertainment and consulting services exclusive to Pyro Media. Pyro Media Network is a space that makes you feel at home. So if you or someone you know wants to make an impact, then contact PMN by visiting www.pyromedianetwork.com, and we will take your production to the next level.
All right. Thank you all for joining today. Thank you again to my two Shenomenal ladies, just setting things off with Afrotages, excuse me, as well as Ware Design Official with Mixed Melanin Brand. Make sure you go to their websites. They have some awesome pieces, and just support. Go follow them, purchase from them, and then share it. That is how we keep recycling our Black dollars, and we keep each other uplifted and supported. So my Shenomenal guests, you guys were awesome. I appreciated you being here. And before we head off, I must take a moment and acknowledge some Shenomenal graduates. All right, so normally I do a spotlight on one Shenomenal woman, but for the month of June, we are spotlighting some Shenomenal graduates. And this week, we are spotlighting Miss Malia, who just graduated from kindergarten. She is headed off into first grade. Y'all know that's a big deal when you graduate from kindergarten. So congratulations to her. Congratulations to Miss Katie, who just finished up elementary school, and she is getting ready to head off into middle school. She is a bright, smart young lady. And Katie, you are going to be the star at your middle school. And then to Miss Asha. Asha just finished up, she graduated from a community college and actually graduated with 2 degrees, and she's getting ready to head into a university to work on her bachelor's. So congratulations to the Shenomenal graduates, Malia, Katie, and Asha. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are such Shenomenal young ladies. All right, that is our show for today. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. Thank you again to my guests, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.